Hey guys, this is Mr. H. I wanted to do a video. Actually, this video is probably overdue on how to simplify expressions that have parentheses and a bunch of exponents all over the place. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of examples from the problems that we were working on in class. But what I want you guys to do is once you've watched me do one, I want you to stop the video. And every time I give you a new problem, I want you to stop the video and I want you to try it. And then once you've tried it, play the video and compare it to what I've done and make sure that that you match, right? So make sure you understand what you're doing. So I want you guys to try to do this with me. Don't just watch the video. Get a piece of paper, calculator, everything. All right, so let's go. All right, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to review what an exponent is and what it does. All right, if you see in this example, we got 8 to the third power. And basically all that means is we are going to take the base and well, actually it's here. We're taking the base and we're going to multiply the base 3 times. So that's what an exponent does. It tells us how many times to multiply the base. So in this example, the base is 8, the exponent is 3. So that's why you have 3 8s here. You multiply them and you're done. Okay, so that's what an exponent is. Now we're going to look at the product rule. Now the product rule is just a quick way to know how to simplify something, two things that have the same base quickly. All right, so if you look at this, it says 4 to the third power times 4 to the seventh power. Now, we're multiplying, but that doesn't mean you're going to multiply the base and then add the exponents. That is not the right thing to do. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to keep the same base. So this is going to be 4. And then we're going to add the exponent. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So it's going to be 4 to the 10th power. That is it. That's the product rule. So when you have two numbers or two letters that have the same base, all you do is add the exponents and keep the base the same. You don't multiply the bases. You just add the exponents. Let's do another example. So if you look at the next one, it has x to the 5th and x to the 6th. The base is an x. So all we're going to do is keep the base and we add the exponents. So 5 plus 6 is 11. And so that's it. All right. Now, the product rule is fairly simple. Keep the same base, add the exponents, right? They have to have the same base. If they don't have the same base, you can't use the product rule. So once you see two numbers or two variables that have the same base, and you want to multiply them, all you got to do is keep the base and add the exponents. Now, but let's look at this third one, right? This one has 5x to the third power times 6 raised to the x to the fourth power, and then we have 7x. And we want to multiply those. We want to use the exponent properties and we want to multiply those. Now, here's the key. These numbers out front, the 5, the 6, the 7, they are called coefficients. That's the actual term for those numbers. They're called coefficients. But all you need to know is that whatever they're called, no matter what they're called, you are just going to take those numbers and you're going to multiply them together. So it's going to be 5 times 6 times 7. So that's the first thing that you always do. Take the coefficients, multiply them all together. So that's the first thing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the things that have the same base, and then you're just going to add them just like we did up here. We're just going to go and we're going to get the exponents and we're going to add them. And by the way, this x here has a coefficient of 1. So we're going to do 3 plus 4 plus 1. Now, if we are simplifying this all the way down, we would just say 5 times 6 times 7. What is that? Well, 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 times 7 is going to be 210. And so that part is done. And now all we have to do to finish this is just add up the exponents. So 3 plus 4 plus 1 is going to be 8. So that is our answer. Excuse me. So now here, let's go to the actual questions that we had on for the classwork that we were doing. All right, and I'm going to start with this one. Now, in this one, we've got something that may be a little bit unfamiliar. We've got parentheses with an exponent of 4. Now, normally, if you understood the power rule, you could use the power rule, but I don't want to mess with the power rule because almost I'd say 80 to 90% of the students mess the power rule up. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use our knowledge of exponents and the product rule, and we're going to answer this question this way. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to expand this base. So the exponent is 4, the base is everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to have 4 copies of this. So this is going to be x squared y to the third times x squared y to the third times x squared y to the third times x squared y to the third. So that's 4 copies. 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you've done that, you're good. All right, let me get those out of the way. Now I'm going to do one quick thing. All of these terms have a coefficient. So I could put 1 here, I could put 1 here, I could put 1 here, I could put 1 here. So they all have a coefficient of 1. Now, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this last part because we're multiplying that too, and we're going to put that here at the end. And I'm going to put a 1 up here just so you know that the x has an exponent of 1. Now that we've gotten rid of this and we've rewritten it, we are going to use the product rule. We're going to multiply the coefficients together, and then we're going to add the exponents of the things that have the same base. So let's do that. So it's going to be 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 2, and that's just going to be 2. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to take anything that has a base of x, and we're going to add the exponent. So it's going to be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, and that's it. Now we're going to do the same thing for the y. So we're going to take anything that has a base of y, we're going to take the exponent, and we're going to add them. So it's going to be 3, 3, 3 again, final 3, and then we've got this 4, because this has a base of y too. So we add 4. And now all we do to finish this up is we just total these 2 numbers up, and that's going to be our new exponent. So it's going to be 2, and then let's add this. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. So our final total exponent is going to be 9. And then let's do the y. It's going to be y, and then 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 4 is 16. There we have it. That is our simplified answer. We can't do anything other than that. And that's it. All right. I'm going to do another example. Now, this next one, I want you guys to try it with me. Stop the video and try this on your own. And then when you finish, come back and let's work it together. All right. So I hope you stopped it. If you didn't, stop it and try it. All right, so now we got to get rid of this exponent. We're going to expand it. So that's telling us that we're going to have 2 copies of everything that's inside the parentheses. So it's going to be a negative x to the 4th, y second, and then multiplied times a negative x to the 4th, y to the second. Now, I'm going to add a coefficient because they do have it. So this is going to be a negative 1. This is also going to be a negative 1. Now we're almost done. We just got to multiply this last piece. So it's going to be times a negative x to the third power, y to the fourth. And remember, this also has a -1 in front. So that's the coefficient. So let's go. Remember our rule. You multiply the coefficients or the numbers in front. So that's going to be a -1 times a -1 times a -1. So that's going to give us a -1. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take anything that has a base of x, and we're going to take the exponents and we're going to add them. So it's going to be 4 plus 4 plus 3. And let's do the y. So same thing, we're going to take anything that has a base of y and add the exponent. So it's going to be 2, 2, 4. Now, almost done. We're going to write it, simplify it. If we add those up, we're going to get 11. If we add these up, we're going to get 8. And that is our final answer. Remember, you can check these by storing numbers. All right, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do one on the back page. Now, which one am I going to do? I'm going to do number 10 because a lot of students struggle with that one. Now, remember, turn the video, stop the video, and then do it on your own and then come back. All right, so let's go. I'm just going to rewrite this y x to the third. And by the way, this has a 1 in front of it. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use my knowledge of the exponent properties or exponent, and I'm going to have 2 copies of what's inside the parentheses. So my first copy is going to be x squared, y squared, and then I'm going to multiply that times x squared, y squared. So those are my 2 copies. I'm done. And let me do one quick thing. I'm going to put a 1 here. I'm going to put a 1 here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the ones, the coefficients, all those numbers, and I'm going to multiply them together. And I'm just going to 1 times 1 times 1 is just going to give us 1. And then I'm going to start working on the y's. I'm going to put y first. It doesn't matter which one goes first, but anything that has a y, I'm going to take the exponents. By the way, this y has an exponent of 1. So I'm going to take this. That's my first. I'm going to take this 2. That's my second. I'm going to take this 2. That's my third. And we're good. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to do the same thing for the x's. Anything that has a base of x, I'm going to go take the exponents and add them. It's going to be 3 plus 2 plus 2. And to finish this off, I just total up the exponents. So this is going to be 1, y, 1 plus 2 is going to be 5. And then I'm going to do x, and then 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. So that is our final answer. That's our final answer, and that's good. So I hope this has been helpful. Let me go back and do a quick review. All you're going to do is you're going to multiply the coefficients, and then you're going to add the exponents. And anything that has a parentheses with an exponent, you get rid of that by expanding it. You expand it first, rewrite it, and then you go through and just use the product rule. All right, guys, I hope that this is helpful. But if it's not, if you're still confused, you got to let me know. You got to come to me and say, Mr. H, I watched your video, but this part didn't make sense. Can you explain it? All right. But anyway, I'll see you guys in class, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. All right.